Iran spent 40 years building a nuclear weapons program. Iran invested billions of dollars. Iran suffered through international sanctions. Iran sacrificed its economy. Iran endured isolation from the global community. All of this was done to achieve one goal: nuclear deterrence. Iran wanted nuclear weapons so that no country could attack Iran without facing the threat of nuclear retaliation. This is basic military strategy. If your enemy knows you can destroy them, they won't attack you. Iran believed that nuclear weapons would give Iran security. Iran believed that nuclear weapons would make Iran untouchable. But something happened recently that completely changed this calculation. The United States developed a military capability that essentially makes Iran's nuclear deterrent useless. And nobody's really talking about it. The capability that America developed is so advanced, so revolutionary, that it fundamentally changes the game. And once you understand what this capability is, you're going to realize that Iran's entire nuclear program was essentially a waste of money. Let me explain what happened. The United States has been developing a weapon system that can neutralize nuclear weapons before they're ever launched. This is not science fiction. This is real. This system exists. It's operational. And it completely undermines Iran's nuclear deterrent. The system is called a layered defense system. It works like this. If Iran launches a nuclear missile at the United States or at one of America's allies, the missile goes through several phases of flight. First, there's the boost phase, where the missile is launching and climbing into space. Second, there's the mid-course phase, where the missile is traveling through space toward its target. Third, there's the terminal phase, where the missile is coming back down toward the target. Traditionally, missile defense systems have focused on the terminal phase because that's when the missile is moving slower and is easier to track. But the American system focuses on the boost phase and the mid-course phase. What America has developed is a system that can detect a missile launch within seconds of launch. The system uses satellites and sensors to identify the launch. The system can track the missile in real time. And the system can launch interceptors that can hit the missile while it's still in boost phase. This means the missile is destroyed before it ever leaves the atmosphere, before it ever reaches space, before it ever becomes a strategic problem. This changes everything about missile defense, because if you can destroy a missile in boost phase, you can destroy any missile. You can destroy any missile from any country. You can destroy Iranian missiles. You can destroy Russian missiles. You can destroy Chinese missiles. You can destroy North Korean missiles. The technology that enables this is incredibly advanced. First, there's the satellite constellation that detects launches. These are infrared satellites that can detect the heat signature of a missile launch. The heat from a rocket engine is so intense that it's detectable from space. So as soon as a missile launches, the satellites see it. The satellites transmit the information back to ground stations. The ground stations identify the launch. And within seconds, the system knows that a missile has been launched. The system knows where it was launched from. The system knows the direction it's traveling. Second, there are ground-based radar systems that can track the missile's trajectory. These are the most advanced radar systems in the world. They can detect objects that are traveling at thousands of miles per hour. They can track multiple missiles simultaneously. They can predict where the missile is going to be in the future. Third, there are the interceptors themselves. These are missiles that are designed to hit other missiles. The interceptors are incredibly fast and incredibly accurate. They're equipped with guidance systems that allow them to adjust their course in real time. They can be guided to hit a target that is moving at thousands of miles per hour. They can hit a target that is less than a meter across. This is like hitting a bullet with another bullet. It's an incredibly difficult feat of engineering. But America has figured out how to do it, and America has these systems deployed around the world. There are interceptors in Europe. There are interceptors in the Middle East. There are interceptors in Asia. There are interceptors on naval vessels. There are interceptors on land-based facilities. What this means is that if Iran launches a nuclear missile, the United States has multiple opportunities to intercept it. If one interceptor misses, there are backup interceptors. If one system fails, there are backup systems. This is called layered defense. Multiple layers of defense that work together. The first layer is the satellite detection. The second layer is the ground-based radar tracking. The third layer is the interceptor missiles themselves, and there are actually multiple layers beyond this. If a missile gets through the first 3 layers, there are additional layers that can still engage the target. Now here's where this becomes absolutely devastating for Iran's nuclear deterrent. Iran's nuclear deterrent is based on the assumption that Iran can launch nuclear missiles, and at least some of them will get through American defenses. Iran assumes that even if America shoots down 80% of Iranian missiles, 20% will get through and will hit their targets. And if 20% of Iran's missiles hit American cities or American allies' cities, that would be devastating. That would justify nuclear deterrence. But if the United States can shoot down 95% of Iranian missiles, or 98% or 99%, then Iran's nuclear deterrent becomes useless. If only 1% of Iranian missiles get through American defenses, that's not enough to deter America from attacking Iran. And the math is actually even worse for Iran. Because the United States has this capability, Iran now has to assume that America can shoot down essentially all Iranian nuclear missiles. Because even if the system is not 100% effective, it's effective enough that Iran cannot depend on its missiles getting through. Iran cannot depend on nuclear retaliation. And if Iran cannot depend on nuclear retaliation, then nuclear weapons don't provide deterrence. And if nuclear weapons don't provide deterrence, then Iran has wasted 40 years and spent billions of dollars on a weapon system that doesn't work. This is what has happened to Iran's nuclear program. The technological game has changed. The rules have changed. And Iran's nuclear program has become obsolete. Iran spent decades trying to build a capability that would guarantee its security. But America built a system that neutralizes that capability. And Iran never saw it coming. Let me explain the implications of this. For decades, Iran has been the regional power in the Middle East that has nuclear weapons. Or at least, Iran has been developing nuclear weapons. America has been willing to tolerate Iran's military because of the nuclear deterrent. If America attacks Iran, Iran can retaliate with nuclear weapons. And if Iran can retaliate with nuclear weapons, America has to be careful. America cannot simply invade Iran. America cannot simply conduct massive airstrikes against Iran. America has to be cautious because of the nuclear threat. But now that America has neutralized Iran's nuclear deterrent, America no longer has to be cautious. America can now conduct military operations against Iran without fear of nuclear retaliation. America can strike Iranian military targets. America can strike Iranian government facilities. America can strike Iranian nuclear facilities. And Iran cannot retaliate with nuclear weapons because America can shoot down any nuclear missiles Iran launches. This fundamentally changes the military balance in the Middle East. For the first time since Iran began developing nuclear weapons, Iran is actually vulnerable to American military attack. This is a massive shift in the strategic situation, and Iran's government is probably just beginning to realize this. Iran's government spent 40 years building a nuclear program to achieve security, and now that security has been taken away by American military technology. The other implication is that Iran's bargaining position has been weakened. Iran has been using its nuclear program as leverage in negotiations. Iran has been saying to the world, "You have to negotiate with me because I have nuclear weapons, or I'm developing nuclear weapons. You can't ignore me. You can't sanction me. You have to deal with me because I'm a nuclear power." But now that Iran's nuclear deterrent is essentially useless, Iran doesn't have this leverage anymore. Iran's nuclear program is no longer a bargaining chip. Iran's nuclear program is just an expensive failure. Let's talk about how America developed this capability, because that story reveals something crucial about American military innovation. The United States has been working on missile defense systems since the 1960s. The first missile defense systems were relatively primitive. They could only defend against missiles that were relatively slow and following predictable trajectories. But over the decades, American military technology improved. The sensors got better. The computers got faster. The interceptors got more accurate. In the 1990s and 2000s, the United States deployed the first layered missile defense systems. These systems could defend against multiple missiles from different countries. These systems could engage multiple targets simultaneously. But these systems still had limitations. They could defend against a certain number of missiles. If an adversary launched more missiles than the system could handle, some missiles would get through. But in the last decade, the United States has made revolutionary advances in missile defense. The satellite constellation has become incredibly sophisticated. The sensors have become incredibly precise. The interceptors have become incredibly fast and accurate. The entire system has been integrated so that different layers of defense work together seamlessly. And the result is a system that is essentially unbeatable against the types of missiles that countries like Iran are developing. The key breakthrough was in sensor technology and artificial intelligence. The satellites can now detect launches with incredible precision, and artificial intelligence algorithms can process the sensor data and predict missile trajectories with incredible accuracy. The system can track multiple missiles simultaneously. The system can prioritize targets. The system can allocate interceptors efficiently. The system can react in real time to changing situations. All of this is done by AI systems that make decisions faster than human operators could ever make decisions. What this means is that Iran's nuclear missiles are essentially obsolete before they're even launched. Iran's missiles are designed to be fast and hard to detect, but American sensors can detect them. Iran's missiles are designed to be unpredictable and hard to track, but American AI can track them. Iran's missiles are designed to overwhelm American defenses by launching many missiles at once, but American interceptors can shoot down all the missiles simultaneously. Iran built a nuclear program that was based on 20th century strategic thinking. But America has moved into 21st century strategic thinking. And the gap between 20th century and 21st century military technology is absolutely vast. Iran's nuclear program is based on the idea that if you have enough missiles, some of them will get through. But that's 20th century thinking. In the 21st century, America doesn't care how many missiles Iran has. America can shoot down all of them. Now let's talk about what this means for Iran's future. Iran has a choice. Iran can continue to invest in its nuclear program, but Iran now knows that the nuclear program is essentially useless. Iran can continue to build nuclear missiles, but Iran now knows that America can shoot them down. Iran can continue to pursue nuclear deterrence, but Iran now knows that nuclear deterrence doesn't work because America can neutralize Iran's nuclear capability. So what is Iran going to do? Iran is probably going to realize that continuing to invest in nuclear weapons is a waste of money. Iran is probably going to realize that nuclear weapons don't provide the security that Iran thought they would provide. Iran is probably going to realize that Iran needs a different strategy. The most likely outcome is that Iran is going to have to negotiate with the United States. Iran is going to have to accept limitations on its nuclear program. Iran is probably going to have to accept international inspections. Iran is probably going to have to accept some kind of agreement that limits Iran's nuclear capability, because Iran now knows that its nuclear program doesn't provide security. And if your nuclear program doesn't provide security, then why maintain it? This is a pivotal moment for Iran. For 40 years, Iran has been building toward nuclear deterrence. For 40 years, Iran has sacrificed its economy and its international relationships to achieve nuclear weapons. And now, in a single technological breakthrough, America has made Iran's entire nuclear program obsolete. This is the kind of strategic surprise that changes the course of history. The broader implications of this are also significant. This shows that in the 21st century, defensive technology has caught up with and possibly surpassed offensive technology. For decades, the assumption was that offense had the advantage. If you had enough missiles, some of them would get through. But now defense has the advantage. If your defenses are advanced enough, no missiles will get through. This changes the entire strategic calculus for every country that is developing nuclear weapons or that depends on nuclear deterrence. North Korea is developing nuclear weapons. North Korea has based its entire strategy on nuclear deterrence. But if America can shoot down North Korean missiles, then North Korea's nuclear deterrent doesn't work. China is developing nuclear weapons. China is basing its entire strategy on nuclear deterrence. But if America can shoot down Chinese missiles, then China's nuclear deterrent doesn't work. Russia has based its entire military strategy on nuclear deterrence. But if America can shoot down Russian missiles, then Russia's nuclear deterrent doesn't work. This is why America's development of this missile defense system is so revolutionary. It doesn't just neutralize Iran's nuclear deterrent. It potentially neutralizes everyone's nuclear deterrent. And that changes everything about global security. But here's the thing that's really important to understand. America hasn't revealed the full capabilities of this system. America is keeping the details classified. America is not telling Iran exactly how good this system is. America is not telling the world exactly how effective this system is against different types of missiles. And that ambiguity is actually part of the strategy. Because Iran doesn't know exactly how much of a threat American missile defenses are. Iran has to assume the worst. Iran has to assume that America can shoot down all Iranian missiles. And once Iran assumes that America can shoot down all Iranian missiles, Iran's nuclear deterrent is no longer credible. Because a deterrent only works if the other side believes that your retaliation is possible. If the other side believes that your retaliation is impossible, then you have no deterrent. So America has achieved something remarkable. America has made Iran's nuclear deterrent incredible, without even revealing the full extent of America's capabilities. America has done it through strategic ambiguity. America has let Iran figure out what America's capabilities might be. And Iran has reached the conclusion that Iran's nuclear deterrent might not work. And that conclusion is enough to neutralize the deterrent. This is a form of psychological warfare. But it's also strategic genius. Because America doesn't have to actually prove that the system works 100%. America just has to let Iran believe that it might work. And once Iran believes that it might work, Iran's nuclear deterrent is no longer credible. The question now is what Iran is going to do. Iran can try to develop missiles that are even more sophisticated. Iran can try to develop missiles that are faster and harder to defend against. But this would require Iran to invest even more money and resources into its nuclear program. And Iran's economy is already struggling. Iran is under international sanctions. Iran's currency is weak. Iran's economy is contracting. Iran cannot afford to invest billions of dollars into developing better nuclear missiles. The more likely outcome is that Iran is going to have to negotiate. Iran is going to have to accept that its nuclear program is no longer providing the security that Iran thought it would provide. Iran is going to have to accept some kind of international agreement that limits Iran's nuclear capability. And in exchange, Iran is going to hope that the United States will ease sanctions and allow Iran to participate in international commerce again. This is a historic moment for Iran. For 40 years, Iran has been focused on achieving nuclear weapons. For 40 years, Iran has seen nuclear weapons as the path to security and independence. But now Iran is faced with the realization that nuclear weapons don't provide security if the other side can neutralize them. And this realization is going to force Iran to rethink its entire strategic approach. The bigger picture here is that military technology continues to evolve, and the pace of evolution is accelerating. 10 years ago, missile defense systems couldn't do what they do today. And 10 years from now, missile defense systems are going to be even more advanced. Countries that are betting on nuclear deterrence as their security strategy are betting on a technology that is becoming obsolete. And that is a very dangerous bet to make. For America, this is a moment of triumph. America has developed a military capability that neutralizes the nuclear threat from countries like Iran. America has achieved strategic superiority in a way that doesn't require America to use military force. America has achieved this through technological innovation, and America has done it in a way that keeps the full extent of America's capabilities classified, which provides additional strategic advantage. The message to Iran is clear. You spent 40 years building a nuclear program. You spent billions of dollars. You sacrificed your economy. And America just neutralized your entire nuclear program with a defensive system that you can't see, you can't touch, you can't destroy. You can only watch as your life's work becomes useless. This is what it means to fall behind in military technology. This is what it means to lose the arms race. This is what it means to invest in weapon systems that become obsolete before they're ever used. Iran made a strategic choice to pursue nuclear weapons. America made a strategic choice to develop defenses against nuclear weapons. And America won that competition. If you're following the military developments around Iran and around nuclear deterrence, if you want to understand how military technology is changing the strategic situation, if you want to understand why Iran's nuclear program is becoming useless, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're going to continue covering military developments and explaining how they change the global strategic situation. Understanding military technology is crucial for understanding global affairs, and understanding how defensive technology is catching up with offensive. Technology is crucial for understanding the future of warfare. Leave a comment below and tell us what you think. Do you think America's missile defense system is really as advanced as we're describing? Do you think Iran's nuclear deterrent is actually useless now? What do you think Iran should do given this new situation? What does this mean for the future of nuclear deterrence around the world? Your perspectives matter. The discussion in the comments helps us understand how people are thinking about these crucial military and strategic questions. And the discussion helps all of us think more deeply about the future of nuclear weapons and nuclear deterrence. Share this video with your friends, your family, your colleagues who are interested in military affairs and global security. Help us reach more people so that everyone can understand how military technology is changing the strategic situation. Help us spread the word about what's really happening with missile defense systems and nuclear deterrence. The more people who understand these military developments, the more informed the global conversation about nuclear weapons and security can be. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video as we continue to analyze the military developments that are shaping our world.